This is going to be very hard to see because it's 3 in the morning. But as you can see here, there in particular, there is running water because it is very, very wet here. It's been raining for the last couple days. This here, I actually didn't even realize this, and I came over to turn the gas on. And yeah, it's water running from up on top of the mountain. We're gonna working on having somebody come and clean this up because this area was unfortunately trashed by tenants before us that rented. Wasn't the owners, but yeah, nice clean water coming through there.
Okay, so, hey guys, so Nick just got back from a Whirlwind trip. Literally, he was gone, what was it?
It was about 36 and a half hours from the time I walked out our front door to the time I walked back in.
And it was a very successful and not stressful trip this time. Shout out to John for being the co-pilot this time. What kind of travels was it? Was it bad traffic? Like, how was the driving part of it this time compared to other trips?
Yeah, I mean, so if you're doing a trip like this, you know, that's kind of far, and if you're going through any like major like cities, like we go through Baltimore, and we also go through, I'm going to say the tail end of West Virginia, because I don't know exactly, I want to say it's Charleston, but I'm not 100% sure. But either way, it's right before the border of Kentucky. So
Is it Morgantown?
It could be Morgantown, I'm not sure. But it's right on the border with Kentucky. And so it's two congested areas. So we try to plan it so that we're not going through Baltimore at a congested time, like 8 or 9 a.m. or 3 to 5 p.m. And the same thing goes with the West Virginia spot. So we have found that if we leave between 3 and 4 a.m.
That's all you.
Yeah, 3 and 4 a.m. if we leave here. And then we also found that if we leave Kentucky at 3 or 4 a.m., we are pretty good. I will say this time, though, we did... that's actually our first time leaving Kentucky at 3 or 4 a.m. Normally, we would have left at night and driven through the night, but that was with my previous co-pilot who had other obligations, who, through no fault of his own, just wasn't able to make this trip. So
shout out to Vinny. We appreciate all the help that you've been thus far.
We do appreciate Vinny, yes. So, I had a new co-pilot this time, and his prerogative was, well, let's just leave. So we basically got down into Kentucky at about 3:30, 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and we unloaded the trailer in lots of rain and mud and things like that. And after we did that, we slept, had some dinner in there, but then we went to sleep, and he woke me up at 3 o'clock, and he's like, "You ready to go?" I said, "Yep, let me just throw some shoes on and get our stuff out." We really had minimal stuff, just basically like our bedding and things.
There really isn't room at this point.
Yeah, there's not really much room.
Other than what needs to go down there.
Right. So we hopped in the truck, locked the gate at the end of the driveway, and we left our house at 3:38 this morning. And so we got back. I got back about...
a little before.
It was a little bit before 4th, so it was like 36 and a half hours or so, from the time that I left and that we got back. That also includes me taking him to his house, which is maybe about 10 or 15 minutes out of the way. It's not very far out of the way. So yeah, I mean, we did hit some traffic coming back in Delaware. Between Baltimore and Delaware, there was some traffic, but
is that Route 1, right? Coming up through there, or is that 95?
No, it's 95. Yeah, 95. So, definitely try to plan it out if you're going to be doing trips. because with the trailer it's a bit different, but it's so much easier coming back than going down because you've got an empty trailer. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a successful trip. This was a turn and burn trip. We went down, dropped everything off, like I said, and came right back. No dilly-dallying, no playing, no nothing. We got it done. So, a little tired, but we made it.
I'm so glad that you're back. I really missed you. Any suggestions other than what you've covered so far for people that are considering moving like state to state and are doing it the way that we are, piecemeal, instead of getting, say, maybe a big tractor trailer or a moving company, which we didn't even consider because the expense, or even the pods, because I think the pods, like, your starting price was around $5,000, and we're spending, with these trips, we're spending what, $500, if that, per trip.
About 6 or 7, somewhere in there.
Depending on if we get a hotel or not. If he doesn't bring us, they turn and burn. They don't get a hotel.
Yeah. So I would say, if you're doing this, definitely take somebody with you. That is number one. Any more than like 6 hours, you really need to have somebody with you, because it is a long trip. Long trip. You're in the car for about 12 hours. You are
and
stopping.
It should be somebody that you like.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be somebody you kind of get along with. But you're basically just stopping to use the restroom, get coffee, and get gas. That's pretty much it. So that's what we did, and it's about a 12-hour trip. So with that said, take somebody with you. It is a big, big deal to do that. If you are going to go the route to move yourself, two big things that I would say to you is make sure you get the proper equipment to do it. Don't think you're going to move 22 axle, 22 axle, I'm a little tired. 22-foot dual axle trailer with Chevy S10. Right? You're not going to do it. You
might even have trouble with a big Dodge Ram.
Yeah, you might. Now I will say, like, my Tundra could pull that trailer, but I'm not gonna switch trailers now. It just doesn't really make sense. And I think that trailer actually had a little bit of an axle problem now that I look back on it. But regardless, I have a 14-foot enclosed single axle trailer, which is a story for another time. Single over dual. So there's a story behind that, and I know the weight capacity of it, and we fill it. And the truck is plenty strong enough to tow it. And so we stuff the trailer, and down we go. Make every load count. Take somebody with you, make every load count. And and the last thing I'm going to say, and I told John, because this was our first trip together, me and him, and I told him in our pre-trip consult where I was going over how I do things. I buy prepaid gas cards, prepaid Visa cards. I buy prepaid Visa cards for a reason. You're using sometimes some shady gas stations, right? Not all the time, but sometimes. I don't really want to be using my personal debit or credit card at these gas stations. Not really smart. So if you're using a prepaid Visa card, can it be stolen and used? Yes. However, it's got a limit of $500, and it's got less than that if you've been using it. So really, if they take it, or by the time they would take it, you probably spend it all. And not only that, but it's not linked to you, so you don't have to worry about somebody getting your bank account information or anything like that. It also makes it easier because if you are driving, you don't have to worry about going into the store in the wee hours of the morning or at night when it's maybe a little sketchy. You don't have to worry about doing that. You just swipe your card at the pump, and you're going to get a full tank. You don't have to guess about how much your car needs. And I use the Secure Spend Visa cards. They seem to work pretty much everywhere, and they're great. So I highly recommend those. And they're like $4, $5 to buy them, but it's well worth it because then you don't have to worry about any of those things that I mentioned. So, there's other tips, but for now, just some reflections of the trip that was.
Any house updates?
Yeah, there's a lot of those, but I'll keep it short. The house is livable.
It's in super construction mode. Like we're getting close.
We're getting close. There is some construction. There's construction stuff all over because 2 rooms are being ripped out right now. So we're working on that. That stuff should be done in the next 2 weeks or so. There is heat down there.
Shout out to Jason.
Yeah, shout out to Jason for that. There is heat down there. Although I had some trouble with both of them. Neither one was Jason's fault because one of them is propane and not gas.
Didn't realize that when it was ordered.
Yeah, I didn't. It said it was natural gas, but it wasn't.
And we didn't check when we were down there.
I didn't check. I didn't open the box. These were on eBay, open box specials. The other one, it has 5 little squares in it that light up, and you're supposed to be able to light 1, 3, or 5, I think. So that way it varies how much heat you're putting out. And the one that was natural gas would only let me light all 5. It would not let me light any less. So what I did last night was I knew. Like we obviously had blankets, so we were. It wasn't that cold anyway. It was only like 45 degrees, I think, at night, so it wasn't really cold. But what I did was I left the heater on 5 because that's all it would do. I had it on for the duration of our, basically while we were unloading the truck, and at that point I basically just left it on until I got in bed for the night, and I was sweating. That's how hot it was. It didn't help that like the heater was here and my bed was right here. So they're like, the heater was facing me, but...
Very different scenario from what we dealt with when we stayed there in April for the 10 days or so that we did when we were freezing.
It was very cold because we didn't have... I underestimated how cold it was, and I overestimated the capacity for space heaters. These heaters, they're just 30,000 BTU natural gas heaters. They mount on the wall. They're very, very cheap. You don't have to worry about duct work or nothing like that. They are great. They are the heating thing that I love. And they're more or less universal. So when it breaks, which they rarely do, because it's natural gas, there's not really,
There's not a lot of mechanics.
There's not a lot of mechanics, yeah. I mean, it's like a natural gas oven. They last forever. So, but hypothetically, when it dies, it's very easy to unmount it and just get the same one. So you don't really have to. It's plug and play more or less. You don't have to call HVAC guy. You don't have to call none of that if you know what you're doing. But it's very simple to just plug and play. So
and it's not going to be. I mean, we have a plan for a more sustainable heat source.
Down the road.
It's in the works. We know that especially this first winter that we're going to be there, we're going to have to use natural gas because it was April when we were there and we were freezing. Yeah. Now, it was a particularly cold spring. I don't know if that's typical for the area. I don't want to find out. I want to have heat that I can turn on and get warm. That's kind of necessary. But yeah, it was kind of nice to have a dry run before we get down there in a few weeks and have to have the whole family there. It's kind of nice to know that we definitely have a way to keep everybody warm, and for that I'm grateful.
Yeah, the heat, these heaters, I know a lot of people, this one over here,
I worry about the kids touching them.
Who freak out about these heat sources, but Isaiah's never touched the stove. Not when it's on, not where he would get burned. It's not an issue.
I'm going to be outnumbered 3-1 when it comes to children that don't have their own safety at heart.
But there is a screen on them, so it's not like a kid can just put their hand in it, and they're high enough off the ground. They make them pretty much childproof. But at the end of the day, a lot of people will say, well, it's not a central heat or anything. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. If you turn both those heaters on all the way,
Plus,
even
there's one already in the one large.
there's
area.
a small one in like our storage room, a small one. It's not going to heat much.
Because the one that used to be a gun store.
It's
just a very large room that we're using for storage right now.
It's not going to heat much, but it will do a little bit. But the point is that these two heaters that I have in there now, when they're swapped out with actually working ones and one that's actually natural gas, they will run you out of that house. One of those heaters is supposed to be able to do, I think it's 1,100 square feet. Well, our house, that's about what size our house is. So I've got two of them. So it is a lot of heat for not a lot of house in comparison, but that's why I did that. So nobody's going to be cold. That was my key thing. Nobody's going to be cold. Probably could have gotten away with one, but just to be safe, make sure everybody's nice and toasty. So until we do get that little more sustainable heat source, we will definitely not be cold. And truthfully, again, it's so cheap. I mean, honestly, it's so cheap that, getting the line in place is a little expensive, but the heaters are very cheap and they're easy to swap. And natural gas is very cheap. So it's a win-win right now. So there's a lot going on at the house. We'll probably talk a little bit about that at some point, I guess. But for now, the house is livable, and it's certainly coming along pretty quick. All things considered.
I still don't have a kitchen. That's the next step.
Hopefully that's fixed in about 2 weeks or so.
Coming soon, you all are going to get the chance to vote on artwork for the kitchen, because I came up with a very cool idea.
No, sorry. Time out. No, okay, listen, please. For my sanity, do not vote for the chicken pictures. What kind of horror is this? We're sitting there. I'm sorry, this is on a tangent, but excuse me. No. We're sitting in the living room last night. Or, not last night, excuse me.
Before you left.
I'm tired. The night that I left, okay? Well, she's sitting there, and she's telling me about her ideas for decorating the kitchen. And she wants to put the chickens in these attire, like little outfits. No.
Seasonal.
No, we're not that kind of people. No.
Out, like little Santa hats,
little
Easter
no,
bunny ears.
No. See, no. I don't know who does that, and I'm sorry if you do that, but seek help. There is help for you, because this is not acceptable. I'm sorry. I don't want to go out to make some coffee and see this chicken on my wall. And like a July 4th outfit. I don't want to see that at all. No, sorry, no. And I'm like, listen, we could just put like some Bible verses, or I've seen some YouTubers who have like little plates on the wall. They have faith lives here, or come in and eat, or some kind of like a little saying.
Farmhouse. No, that's not me. You married the most eccentric chick you probably could have.
Do something normal. Just do
I
something
can't.
normal, but you can't. And
So okay, backstory here. You have to understand. When I originally envisioned this kitchen, one of the things I said to him is, I don't want upper cabinets. I would like to have just like maybe on one side 2 shelves, on the other side 1 shelf, because I am so short. You probably can't tell from our videos so far. He is 6'3". I am 5'2", 5'3" if I stretch out really good. I'm very short. Yeah, he likes to call me his favorite little person, which is offensive, but when you look at the size difference between the two of us, I get it. So the upper cabinets are really wasted space. It's not usable space for me. So what I'm envisioning...
T-Rex arms.
Yeah, T-Rex arms.
T-Rex arms. Just trying. Yeah.
We've been around Isaiah too long. We're thinking in dinosaurs. So what I'm envisioning on the one side of the kitchen is 2 shelves, and then I already have a really pretty piece of chicken metalwork that my mother-in-law got me for Christmas last year that I really love. I'd like to put that in the middle, and then I want to have either 2 small pictures on either side of that, or 1 big picture on either side of that I've taken of our chickens, because we do have some really pretty chickens, especially our roosters.
What?
We have really pretty chickens.
No, see, this is why this can't happen. No, thank you. No, thank you. See,
coming soon. I've already started taking pictures, and I'm gonna let you guys vote because I'm totally doing this because of his reaction. Again, you've heard me say this stubborn.
No,
I'm stubborn.
because wait a minute. Okay, right. So she's gonna do that, but I have ways because let me tell you something. There's things that I know that I could hang up on the wall that she wouldn't like. Right? I know.
He has his own space, and he can decorate it however he sees fit.
Right, but the kitchen.
The kitchen is my territory. I am the one who spends the majority of my time in the kitchen.
But the problem is I have to go in there to make coffee and things. And so, yeah, please do the right thing.
Okay, seriously, the whole little outfits and hats and stuff was a joke, only because
it didn't seem like it was not a joke. She's lying. It was not a joke. She is lying. It wasn't a joke. She was very serious about that.
It's one of those really fun things with he and I that you'll get to know. Like when I see that he has like a big reaction to it, I have to take it and run with it and make it extreme.
She's lying because she says that. She meant it. No, sir, no. She was being serious. And she had thought all out. That's the best part.
He doesn't know because I get him going.
She's lying. See, because I know she's lying because if she wasn't lying, she wouldn't be doing this poll. She's doing the poll because she's dead serious about it. But she's trying to appear normal for all of you. So now she's saying, "Oh, well, I was just joking." No, she wasn't just joking. She was being honest.
And now you know why it's so fun to mess with him.
And so, right. So, the point here is, do the right thing. Vote no on Ginger's agenda item 1. Don't do... No, because see, here's what will happen. Bad things will happen. Okay? There will be, and I wish I could give you an example, but I'm very tired right now, and I can't think of anything at the moment. But there will be things that I could put on the wall as decor. That she would not like. Actually, I would get an elf on a shelf and hang him over the sink. And she doesn't like that past Christmas. She would get very upset. That would absolutely offend her. So, also, here's a fun fact for all of you, in case you want to, like, just really get under her skin. Round about April, send her All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. She'll block you. She'll call you mean names. And, yeah. July 4th is another good time to do that, too, by the way.
No. I'm married to a man who is named after the patron saint of Christmas. I should have known that I would be in for 98% of the year hearing Christmas carols and him wanting to watch Hallmark Christmas movies. I should have known. It should have scared me.
I am Buddy the Elf.
He is.
And so the point here is that she doesn't know what she's doing. Obviously, pregnancy has made her lose her mind. And so here I am paying the price, suffering the consequences of this reprehensible action. So, again, help me out.
How about bunnies? Maybe we could do chickens on one side and bunnies on the other.
No, see, I don't know. No. If it was like a prepared rabbit or a prepared chicken, you know, like the chicken
food.
would like food.
Well, it's just the prequel to food. It's while they're still alive.
This from the one who will not process them. This one.
Oh, wait a minute. I do too.
She won't. She'll come out. Listen, okay. No, sorry. This is a very, very long video, and I'm praying she edits this down because right now, see, all right, here's what's okay. So one time I was out doing a chicken, right? And how we had it, you could kind of see it from, well, you really could see it from our slider door in our living room. When I send them to God, Okay? So, anyhow, so she opens the door and she goes, and she walks back inside.
Because Isaiah could have seen it.
Could have. He was probably in another room, right? This was her. And this is how she is, right? This is how she is. And she'll say all this. Oh, I love it. It's like the precursor to like Thanksgiving. And, you know, she says that.
Listen, I plucked me some turkey. I plucked turkey. I plucked chickens. I hold the chickens while you use the thing on it. Like, I will help. I don't love it.
Any person who's being serious doesn't say, I hold them while you do the thing on them, or whatever it is you just said. Right?
The plucker thing that you made.
The plucker thing is called a plucker.
We never finished that video where you...
there's a lot of like undone video that I never got a chance to edit, so maybe she'll put it out. But anyway, at that point, this here is a nightmare because
it's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be awesome.
It's not gonna happen.
I can't wait.
It's not gonna happen because you see, here's.
He acts like he's big and bad when he comes to decorate, and he doesn't care.
Pray for me. I generally don't care. I really don't care. If she told me, you know, I want polka dots in the kitchen, I would be fine with that. I'm not okay with waking up and like cooking coffee and seeing King Henry's picture on the wall. Because wait a second. Here's the biggest problem I have with that. Okay, chickens are not cats. They don't live for 20 years. So my problem is this one over here. This one over here is the one that's like, well, animals are not people, okay? Like when somebody's pet dies, this one over here is like, well, they're not people, right? And then, okay, fine. But this is the same one who, when I said, well, what happens when something happens to Rupert or when something happens...
Rooster. They don't know our chickens' names. Maybe I should do an introductory video and introduce all the chickens.
We're going to have to edit that part out about where they die, because I don't think you can say that. So let me reach that. Okay. All right. So, the problem with the chicken pictures isn't so much the chicken pictures themselves. Okay, chickens are not cats. They don't live for 20 years. They're not parrots. They don't live for 60 years. Okay, so...
Parrots live for 60 years?
Anyway, the point is,
I'm not really a bird
chickens
person.
don't have a very long lifespan. So what happens when something happens to them? You know, you have your hat on, you're outside, you come in, you pour yourself a cup of coffee, and meanwhile, Henry, who passed away yesterday afternoon, you got to see him. No, I don't. No, I don't. No.
Black slash over it.
She's going to take paint and she's going to write R.I.P. on it with the dash. No, I don't want that. I don't. Listen, my kids, fine. If you wanted to do a dog, if you wanted to do Brother Hero, our cat, fine. Not chickens. No. Because again, see, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5 years. It's not a long time. I don't want it on my wall because the truth is, folks, it will hurt me so much to the point where I don't know if I can bear it. If something happened to the chickens and I have to look up and say, he was such a good rooster. Let us take a moment of silence. Just to get a cup of coffee.
He is really tired.
I am tired, not gonna lie to you. But it's true. All this is true, except what she's saying. That's a lie. What I'm saying is true. And I'm trying to get across that this is lunacy.
So, would you be okay if I went on, like, because I did. I did like just a Google search and I looked up chicken art and there's all kinds of chicken art. Like there are some really crafty people out there. I am not one of those crafty people.
Can you be normal and put plates up on the wall?
No, you didn't marry a normal person.
Listen. Excuse me. Listen. All you have to do, nobody comes in somebody's kitchen and says, wow, your kitchen decor is beautiful. Nobody does that. You know why? Because there's food. Nobody does that. When they come in your kitchen, they say, oh, wow, this chicken's really good. They don't look up on the wall and say, oh.
That was him before.
There's something sick about that one. And I'm the tired one. This one over here, fully rested. Just sick.
See, I took pictures before.
That is horrible. That is bad, Jeffrey Dahmer. Stop it. That is bad. That is Janice Dahmer over here. Stop it. That is bad. Or like, oh, there's Bruno the rabbit. Well, here he is. Here's rabbit burgers.
He's delicious.
That's bad. Listen, if you haven't learned anything from this conversation, I can't help you. Okay? But whatever you do, do not vote for this lunacy, this madness called chicken art. It's chicken trash. It's trash. It's not even anything good. And that's the problem.
You haven't seen the pictures yet.
I don't want to see. That's the point. There shouldn't even be pictures. There should be no pictures. It's like, listen, here's the, no. Here's the pictures. And they look up and they're like, and I don't care. I don't care what they look like. I don't care how majestic they are. I don't care. I don't want it on my wall. What I want on the wall is a scripture verse acceptable. That's what this really comes down to. What is your morality when it comes to kitchen art? Where do you stand? Wherever you find yourself today.
There is a verse in the Bible about God caring about the swallows. I mean, like, God cares about animals, like, so should we. I love my chickens.
I don't even have to say anything to that. That explains itself.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I think we need to wrap this because I know you're tired. And
yet here I am talking about chickens in pictures on my wall.
So this is the man who, for our first Christmas together.
Here we go. I know where she's going. And there's a big difference. Go ahead.
So
you tell the story.
There's a history with him with lions.
Oh, right, okay. Yep.
So for our first Christmas together, which was our first year married, I bought him a huge, and maybe I will insert a picture here. Picture that I bought him for his office at church of a gorgeous lion. It's in black and white, and the eyes are blue, just like his beautiful eyes.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, and he loves it. He loved it. It hung over his desk.
Okay.
Like,
a couple differences here. Okay. One, lions are a Bible character. Two, it's a piece that somebody else thought was art. It was not a custom piece by Ginger, right? Okay. The third difference here. Have you ever eaten lion?
She's laughing at you.
She's not laughing. She's agreeing with me.
Either that or she's got gas.
Excuse me. Do you ever eat lion? Have you ever eaten lion? I haven't. I would.
I believe they're endangered.
They probably are. You probably can't even eat them. But that's the point. See, you can eat chickens.
Gosh, I'm crying from laughing so hard.
I am here trying to defend the flock of chickens from a lion over here who's an animal. An animal. So.
She's laughing at you.
She's not laughing.
She'll learn.
She's saying, as in, I'm right. That's what that means. I know what it means.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate your support, but this one here won't listen. The big one doesn't listen. And that is why I'm asking for your support. I don't care if you want to put, like, At this point, I don't care what you put on the wall. You can put anything on the wall. It doesn't matter what you put on the wall. Anything. Well, mostly anything on the wall, and I'd be fine with it. But instead, we're being reckless, and it's a devolution, is what this is. It is a we are devolving into sickness. Yeah. So your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you from the bottom of my gizzard. And yes, thank you for helping us in this fight. The only thing that's missing is from the arms of an angel. In the arms of an
Oh, you're gonna get us
angel.
flagged for copywriting.
That's true. Right. I can't sing no more. Sorry. The concert's over, folks.
He has a beautiful voice, but
I
he
have
has
a.
to pick some original
I
work.
don't know about that, but anyway, I appreciate that. But for just one vote, you could save this life. Am I not worth one vote?
So let's continue this in the comments.
Yeah.
What do you think about my idea? Like, what do you think about chicken art? Like, I am fairly decent at taking pictures. Like, I know how to use my camera phone. My husband hooked me up with a really good camera. A phone that has a very good camera in it.
This one here was literally, she was around for the bag phones. Okay? She probably had one.
I did not.
She did.
I did not.
Or she had those ones that were like this long, and they had the antenna that like stretched up to Mars, to make a phone call.
No.
And you get it out and go, bloop, bloop, and you put the antenna out, and you put it up to your ear. Okay. That's a good phone to her. So she had been using a particular brand of smartphone that I think is trash. And I use a particular brand of smartphone that I think is great.
But I had
no.
almost
Excuse
every
me.
generation of said
Excuse
phone.
me. No. And I had been telling her, hey, you should get this phone. It's pretty good. No, I'm good. I like this phone. I like my garbage. I like it. I'm going to keep it. Like chicken photos. I like it, right?
I'm stubborn. I freely admit that. But when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I said, I really like your pictures.
Oh!
Your pictures are so nice.
No, see? There's a lot I could say here, but I won't. Yeah. Please just vote. Help me. Save me. Because if you don't, I may wind up in the arms of an angel. Thank you for your support.
And with that, I'm going to let this man go to bed because he is obviously delirious.
No, I'm not delirious. I'm right on cue. This one here is the delirious one.
I did not sleep very well last night, but that was just one night. But thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Look forward to some more updates coming. We are getting very close. Stick with us because this journey it's been a little bit of a slow start in telling the story, but it is about to take off. And we have so much cool stuff going on. We are just soaking in every minute of this and enjoying our time together. The last little bit of time here, we're getting together with friends and family that we're probably not going to see for a while once we get moved. And so, but at the same time, we are trying to get you some content out, some valuable content. I've been working on some pregnancy and postpartum stuff, so I hope you're enjoying that. And Nick is working so hard, so I'm glad to take some of the burden off of him as far as editing and getting stuff out to you guys. And I hope you're enjoying yourself. We are having a blast. I don't think that we could possibly have more fun. So that's all for now, guys. Have a great day, and we will see you soon. Please, again, talk about it in the comments.
Oh, man.
What do you think about my chicken art idea? I think it's brilliant.
No.
He does not.
No. It's the opposite of brilliant, whatever that
And
is.
keep an eye out because I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to get you to vote. And you can pick the pictures that we have in the kitchen, and I can't wait to show you because it's going to be brilliant. And he's going to have to admit that it's brilliant, and,
No.
or at least that it's not terrible. What do you say?
God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. This lady's done a lot of work. Support her in that. I'm just the man here, just being me, and she's doing all the work. So, appreciate her a lot. Love her very much.
He says I'm doing all the work, but he's the one working like 50 hours a week.
Well, she's